He is none other than the great Brent Musburger. How you doing, Brent?
Mr. Eisenrich, I'm doing great, lad. How about yourself?
I am
sounding strong.
We are talking live right now here on the Rich Eisen Show. What do you think of the current field right now? Do you think anybody can win it? You like a favorite? What do you like here, Brent?
Rich, because we're involved in these individual games and the spreads, it's kind of like I take it a game at a time. I'm a coach's cliche, walking around. My heart is with Gonzaga, and let me explain that. I think they paid their dues. They're basically one of the little guys. Full disclosure, Coach Few's a very good friend. He comes to Montana every summer. He loves to fly fish. I don't know whether or not they can do it. I loved them last night against West Virginia at 2.5. I didn't like them so much at 3 and 3.5. So I was able to get in, and you could see that I view these games a little bit differently now.
Mm-hmm.
I know that after they're impressive, and you can talk to Kevin about this, when I was watching, and I wasn't watching carefully, but I was watching closely, and Purdue was playing pretty well against Kansas, I thought, in the first half.
Yeah.
And then I got distracted, and I came back, and it was a blowout. So I think I would think the public would jump on board the train. Some perhaps not knowing that the Jayhawks have a huge home court advantage playing in the Sprint Center in Kansas City in this tournament. I can imagine the joint was rocking with Jayhawk fans. So you'd have to make them probably the favorite now because they're going to get to the Final Four. We'll wait and see what North Carolina does tonight. They're about a 7, Rich, over Butler, and of course Xavier shocked Arizona. You just repeated that. We'll see what happens. And then the other Blue Bloods, UCLA playing Kentucky. That game also in Memphis. Rematch. The Bruins and your friend Young Ball went into Lexington and won that game. I think it was back in December. I'm not surprised that Rick Barry is unhappy with someone's behavior, by the way.
Well, I mean, Lavar Ball has taken, a lot of the media oxygen out right now, Brent. There's no two ways about it. Do you recall any figure like him in your days around college football, college basketball, the NBA, anything? Do you recall somebody similar to him grabbing headlines, grabbing microphones in any way, shape, or form?
No. At the professional level, of course, you go back to the days of Ali and people like that, and they would seize the limelight. Basically, they were promoting themselves in the next fights. But no, this is and the Pops is doing what he thinks is going to help the family negotiate some huge contracts off the court. And I asked a writer from ESPN, Rich, yesterday about the two brothers. I've seen some clips of their high school footage. I said, how good are these two kids? And he thinks that the young one, the third son, may be better than any of them eventually. And I thought very impressive that there are 3 boys coming along like this and are as good as they are. And Pops has decided to promote him. So, he's given all of us a story, hasn't he? Now, I don't pay, from what I'm doing over here in Las Vegas now, I don't pay all that much attention. Those are good issues for the normal talk radio, talk TV people to discuss. I honestly, to tell you the truth, I'm more interested in whether or not they can cover against Kentucky tonight, to be perfectly honest with you.
So break down the Blue Bloods for me, UCLA and Kentucky. How do you see this one playing out tonight, Brent?
Well, Kentucky, very, very young, Rich, and Calipari's had to really coach his butt off with this team. And if they play like they did in that first game against UCLA, the Bruins will advance. But it's a rematch. So that the Wildcat youngsters have buckled in because they lost that first game. And the line has wavered, and now the Bruins are just a slight favorite. But Vegas gets influenced by a lot of fans from Southern California, who drive in and out of here. So there's always a little bit of a line edge to the teams from Los Angeles and UCLA carries. I'll tell you one thing. Like last night, there will be an enormous crowd of Kentucky Wildcat fans in Memphis. That's a pretty easy trip for them to make. They travel much better than UCLA Bruins. UCLA is one of those schools, not unlike how Vanderbilt, where your alums scatter out around the entire country, and they don't come together for things like this as much as the Kentucky faithful. So I would think that the crowd would give the Cats just a little bit of an edge. But having said that, and the other thing I don't know, Rich, is whether or not Coach Alford is distracted by what's going on around him. Dick Vitale came up on VSiN yesterday afternoon and said beyond a shadow of a doubt, in his opinion, that if Indiana Steve offered the head coaching job, he will leave UCLA and take the Indiana job because he grew up there. He's a legend. Led the Hoosiers to a national championship back at '87 down in New Orleans. So you don't know how much of a distraction that's causing internally in a situation, and whether or not we will ever know, it's hard to say. Indiana so far hasn't tipped its hand. That would be the obvious direction for them to head. So we shall see. I was around Calipari, and what impressed me a little bit earlier this year was how hard he works his kids during practice. Everybody knows he's a great recruiter, one and done, fast-talking Italian, friendly, love the dude. But he's a better coach than people think he is. And so beware the Cats tonight if they get on a run. I will say that because they're going to have a huge backing in that building, and the Bruins are going to have to bring their A game to stay alive in this tournament, believe me.
This is the dulcet tones of the host of the Vegas Stats and Information Live show, My Guys in the Desert, 6 to 8 Eastern, Thursday through Monday. Brent Musburger joining me here. How you enjoying it, Brent? You loving it?
Yeah, you know what I really like? I like dealing with different things like, your world, the NFL world. I can talk more about that now, and I can talk about the NBA and the National Hockey League. Rich, I've always been kind of a variety guy, and that's what we're able to do with this. So I like, and I honestly, full disclosure, I don't have to run to the airport every week, so I can stay here with Arlene. And I'm an old guy now. I'm an old
come
guy,
on now. But are the? Is it good that you're? For you, I mean, do you enjoy that the filters are off? I mean, you're talking overs. The filter's off right now with the over-unders and all that business.
Yeah, over-unders and beautiful women and everything else. You know what I'm saying?
Fantastic.
I dropped that little jab in there,
Well, where are you watching these games? Are you at a book? Are you in your house? Where do you watch these games?
You have a variety of places. Obviously, I started the book because I get done around 8 o'clock Eastern. So the first game, Arlene and I stayed down and we watched the Gonzaga game down South Point, where the studio is at the tip of the Las Vegas Boulevard casinos down there, Michael Brown's place. So we started there, and then the second game started. We listened to the radio, drove up to Summerlin. I guess I'm about 15 minutes away, and then we came up to our place and we watched the end of the second games up here. And, you can go to restaurants that have a lot of TV screens around.
Oh, yeah.
So you can move around, I guess. It's a moving feast. I don't know if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
But there's lots of friends around town, and I know a lot of people in Vegas, Rich. And, hey, you got to come over and visit us. You got to come over here, my
Brent,
friend.
Are you kidding me? I'd be more than happy to hang with you, Brent. You got to be kidding me. I'm going to take you up on that. 1,000%,
my friend.
No, forget it. No, you two guys, you can't stay.
Oh, come on.
You can come too. Can I get a plus? Can I get a +2, Brent? At least a +2, +3. Okay,
absolutely.
What are you hearing before I let you go, Brent? What are you hearing in town about the Raiders? Because there's a vote next week, most likely with the NFL membership, that might give the green light for the Raiders to come.
Yeah, the gossip is that they need 24 owners, as you know, out of the 32. And the gossip is that they may be a little short right now, and they're going to have to do some arm twisting. But you and I know that the NFL, above all else, will follow the money. And the state has put up a lot for building this arena, and Bank of America said they will lend them the rest to get it built. My opinion, I'm totally biased. I'm totally biased about this. But if I was the NFL, I would come in here simply because this is such a good destination for fans to come and visit. Now, I know that I mean, forget the gambling. I mean, that thing is long past, and the integrity of the game, everybody understands that. And the bookmakers want a clean game, and so they're not going to influence the outcome. That's ridiculous. And will a football player perhaps get in trouble with other kinds of gambling in this time? Yes, but they're no different than anybody else. We have people who fall by the wayside, and it's a tragedy. It's a sickness if you get addicted to it, like anything else. But you deal with it, so you shouldn't treat them any differently than you do the rest of your population. I honestly believe, and I think the NCAA should come in here with one of their regional tournaments, first, second round. The new arena, the T-Mobile arena, is very, very nice. I went to the Pac-12 tournament. It would make a great site. The football stadium would be on the other side of the interstate from T-Mobile, and there's a lot of ground over there that's never been developed. They would have good parking. They need to build a couple of access roads in there from the interstate. I think, personally, obviously I'm biased. I fully admit that. I'm looking out over the skyline of the Strip right now, and I can see where that new stadium would go, and I think it would be tremendous. I think that fans would really, I think it would energize. The NFL needs a little energizing right now, okay? That was the ratings overall were flat. They had a tremendous Super Bowl, fourth quarter comeback for the ages. It's a great product, but I think that Las Vegas would be an ideal destination for the teams to come in here and play the Raiders. I think I hate to see any franchise move. I've been on record of that through the years. I didn't like it when the Raiders moved to Los Angeles back in the day and left. But in this one, I don't think they're going to get a new arena built up in Oakland. I just don't think the city's going to be able to afford something like that. The California taxation situation is horrendous, as anybody who does business over there knows. And you've got a state willing to put up money, build an arena. You've got a fan base over here. I think they would support the NFL, and I still have doubts about the NHL about 10 years down the road. We'll see how the Golden Knights do this year. But I'm very positive. But the gossip, Rich, to answer you, the gossip is that they still need a couple more votes to get to 24. So we'll see how that unfolds, my friend.
Move over Wayne Newton. There's a new Mr. Vegas, and his name is Brent Musburger. Good chatting with you, Brent.
All right, man.
Great chatting with you. Really, I'd love. Well, let's.
Baby. Okay.
Brent, we'll check in soon. Okay, and I would love to take you up on a hangout. That would be fun.
You got it.
Thank you.
Great.
That's the one and only Brent Musburger at Brent Musburger on Twitter.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.